I began to touch upon this concept in a previous tutorial on this channel. I'm trying to introduce these concepts gradually and therefore recommend that you watch the video that speaks of planetary and astrological associations of the Minor Arcana as a complement to this tutorial. Today, I would like to expand upon the concept and dive even deeper, as we have only really begun to scratch the surface. A decan is a way of breaking down the qualities of each individual star sign by separating each one into thirds of 10 degrees. For each of these, there is a corresponding tarot card from the Minor Arcana, and understanding what each decan speaks of energetically will greatly assist how we understand and interpret the cards, and it's very easy to figure out the decan of each card. The suit of wands, for example, represents elemental fire, so the wands are of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Tarot, as with astrology, deals with the concepts of triplicity, essentially the division of threes. The Minor Arcana cards for each suit 2 through 10 can be divided into 3 sets of 3, with 3 cards for each of the 3 associated star signs. The 2, 3, and 4 of each suit corresponds to the cardinal signs. So for wands, this would make these cards all of Aries. For the cups, these would be Cancer, since that is the cardinal water signs, for swords, Libra, and for pentacles, Capricorn. The 5, 6, and 7 are the fixed signs. For wands, this is Leo, for cups, Scorpio, swords, Aquarius, and pentacles, Taurus. And this leaves the 8, 9, and 10, which are the mutable signs. Wands, Sagittarius, cups, Pisces, swords, Gemini, and pentacles, Virgo. We covered all of this in a previous tutorial, but now we can take this a step further. The sign Aries, for example, is represented by the 2, 3, and the 4 of wands, but each of these corresponds to one of the 3 decans of Aries. The 2 of wands is the first decan of Aries. The 3 of wands is the second, and the 4 of wands is the third. Each of these decans carries with it a unique set of energy. They also come with a specific time frame, and knowing these will also tell you which decan you or your loved ones were born under, but also give us more information about the corresponding tarot card. Myself, for example, I was born on May the 26th, meaning I'm the mutable sign of Gemini. My major arcana cards are the Lovers, which represents Gemini, and the Magician, which represents Mercury, the ruling planet of Gemini. My specific date of May the 26th places me into the first decan of Gemini, meaning I can be considered as a true Gemini and of true Mercury, and my Minor Arcana card is the 8 of Swords. If I had been born on June the 2nd, for example, however, I would still be Gemini and still preceded over by Mercury. But the second decan of Gemini is ruled by Venus and carries fixed energy. These would be sub-influences, and a different card applies, this time the 9 of Swords. The second decan of Gemini also carries strong Libra energy, and would therefore be quite a different kind of Gemini indeed. Using this classification, we can not only understand the unique energy that comes along with each card, but we can look at the birthdays of ourselves and of others, and know which decan for their sign they fall under, and start to see the nuances. Most, watching this, will understand that a personality is not simply dictated by star sign alone. Your moon sign, rising sign, Venus, Mars, Mercury, etc. all contributes to a unique set of traits for any individual. But before we even expand the birth chart to the other planets, we can narrow down which decan of their star sign that they are in to see several other influences at play. Allow me to run through each decan and explore how each corresponding tarot card fits. Those born between March the 21st and March the 30th are Aries, but specifically they would fall into the first decan of Aries, true Aries, true Mars, and true Cardinal. This position is represented by the Two of Wands. First decan Aries are impetuous, energetic, and tend to throw themselves into activities with all of their heart. They have an abundance of self-confidence and are clear on what is important to them, and they pursue their priorities. Knowing the Two of Wands, it's easy to see how this energy plays in here. The Two of Wands depicts someone with conviction, someone decisive with clear ideas about where they are going. For each card, I will give you a brief outline of the energy associated. However, I do recommend you conduct your own further research. You can investigate the first decan of Aries, for example, for an expanded understanding of the Two of Wands, and this applies to all of the Minor Arcana. If I were to give you a lengthy description for each of the 36 cards in question, however, this would be an incredibly long video. So I'll keep things brief here, but give you the tools to take this further for your own study or for your tarot journal, should you choose to. I have included some links in the description that you can access for further study, and some of those sites are quoted in this video. Those born between March the 31st and April the 9th fall into the second decan of Aries. And this brings in several sub-influences to the sign, namely Leo and the Sun in this case. Those born during the second decan of Aries period are highly goal-orientated. Aries Leo have an elegant manner of speech. They can dazzle and charm whenever they choose. Once again, we can see this in the Three of Wands, a card that speaks of building bridges and laying foundations. A charming personality is always helpful in such collaborative matters. The Aries Leo speaks of loyalty, and we know that all of the threes are cards of friendship, expansion, growth, and collaboration. As a quick side note before we progress, it can be problematic predicting exact time frames within tarot, since tarot often taps into the energy of intention, and free will always plays its role within that energy. We could, however, if we really wanted to, use the decans to give a rather specific time frame within a reading, and this could refer to the dates associated with the decan and its corresponding card within the Minor Arcana. The Three of Wands, for example, would speak of the dates between March the 31st and April the 9th. The Four of Wands is associated with the third decan of Aries, those born between April the 10th and April the 20th. The Sagittarius energy encourages a philosophical outlook, and the Aries drive maintains the focus. The Aries Sagittarius, therefore, is an active, fun-loving person with a positive outlook on life, who is highly protective towards their friends and their family. The decans are a great way of understanding star signs and tarot alike, but for both, we should understand that a concept such as decans should not be taken in isolation. This is why the study of such things is so nuanced and layered, and why I have provided you with several separate tutorials, all of which should take each other into account. The Five of Wands corresponds with the first decan of Leo, since the 5, 6, and 7 of each suit speaks of the fixed signs of their element. Astrologically, this would be anyone born between the 23rd of July and August the 1st. First decan Leo is pure concentrated charm, energy, dignity, pride, heat, and ego, a combination that easily lends itself to the Five of Wands. Leo are rather willing to forgive and forget, and they almost never hold a grudge, and this gives us insight into how the conflict and competition of this 5 card may be resolved, or how seriously this competition is being taken. Perhaps not so much. Perhaps we can see this as a case of overenthusiasm and an issue that can easily be overcome, and many readers see that with this card, calling it healthy competition rather than something you can never come back from. Second Decan Leo dreams up big plans, and they put those big plans into action with swift and versatile manoeuvring. They play just as hard as they work, and this is one of the secrets of why they are usually so successful at whatever they do. The Six of Wands, of course, is a card that speaks of this success and the victory that results in such energy. Leo Aries are somehow able to extract the most intimate details from practical strangers. They are excellent listeners, and they will only dole out advice if it's solicited. Leo Aries are also good planners, well capable of organising an effective plan of attack and seeing it through. Again, we can see how this adds a layer of meaning to the Seven of Wands. Perhaps the preparedness to fight that we see in this card may manifest in a way that is more diplomatic than we might have guessed. There is a willingness here to understand the point of view of others while also defending your own position. First Decan Sagittarius are enthusiastic, high-spirited, spontaneous, flashy, flamboyant, and just plain fun. Travel is their middle name, and they will go anywhere and anyhow. The more exotic and far out the destination, the better. So while we understand the Eight of Wands as a card of communication, introducing the first Decan of Sagittarius encourages us to see the movement and fast pace of this card. Sagittarius Aries are dependable, efficient, and thorough in their personal life and career. At times they may be discouraged, but the face they show to the world is one of humour and strength of character. They are a person of fierce independence. Nines always speak of the self, among other things, often in terms of how independence is being viewed, and with this card and combination, we can see how that sense of self is being defended. Third Decan Sagittarius are drawn to magical experiences, not only in their personal lives but also in their careers. What basically attracts them, after all, is the impossible challenge, and they love to pull off miracles, both minor and major, before their astonished colleagues' eyes. Gifted with intuition and insight, they have a deeper meaning. They enjoy travel and meeting new people, and they want to widen their experiences. When we apply this to the Ten of Wands, we can see a tenacity to finish something started, no matter how hard it might have become, achieving something that may seem hard, challenging, or even impossible. In these terms, we might see the Ten of Wands of less of a burden and more of an admirable achievement of something that was quite difficult because ultimately it was important enough to follow through on. First Decan Cancer are those who can put their fantasy to work in a constructive way and who can share their unique view of the world with others. Cancer see deeply into human nature, and their sights and guidance are often sought after. Cancer quickly picks up on the feelings of others. In relationships, first Decan Cancer looks for harmony and security. This brings in an extremely empathic and understanding energy to the Two of Cups, which is exactly what we might expect for this card. Second Decan Cancer can be a great deal of fun for their close friends, who will find them sensitive and thoughtful and caring. Cancer Scorpio share their lives best with others who also value privacy. And this speaks of the intimacy and trust of the friendship energy that we see in the Three of Cups. This is not just a group of casual friends that are having some fun together. This is a friendship group that carries weight and meaning, a soul family of sorts, a group of people you may share secrets with and people that know you on a more intimate level than most. Cancer Pisces have an open, receptive quality that is permanently endearing, although astrologically the Four of Cups speaks of the opposite, suggesting that the emotional security that a Cancer Pisces desires may be absent in this card, presenting this receptivity from manifesting, even though the potential is most definitely here. The spiritual planet Neptune is the sub-ruler, which joins forces with the moon, ruler of Cancer, to accentuate an impressionable and romantic nature, which lends itself to the unfulfilled dreams energy of the Four of Cups, and perhaps even the disappointment of said unfulfilled dreams. Neptune, as the ruler of Pisces, brings to Cancer Pisces an element of disguise, and this brings the theme of self-deception into this card. First Decan Scorpio are loyal and steadfast, and others quickly see that they can depend on them. They will stand by a lover long after others in the same situation would have let go. Once they let go, however, there is usually no turning back. The Five of Cups speaks of the regret, disappointment, and unfulfilled expectations of dealing with someone you loved and trusted letting you down. When we understand just how loyal first Decan Scorpio energy is, we can see why losing such trust has such a huge impact. It's important for the Scorpio Pisces to find deeper meaning in their relationships. They are romantic and intense. Having a loving partner fulfills and completes them. Scorpio Pisces can tune into some unusual wavelengths. Their intuitive, sensitive powers can carry them right to where they want to go. Perhaps this is why the Six of Cups speaks of soulmates and the desire for something deeper and spiritual. Second Decan Scorpio generally make steadfast friends and faithful lovers and mates. Although their presence is often formidable, they can be unusually kind, giving, and even quite sentimental. The Six of Cups is a card of sentimentality and nostalgia, which also relates to this. Scorpio Cancer can be quite vulnerable to the seductive skills of others, something the Seven of Cups speaks of, the temptation that this card presents. The people that connect with a third Decan Scorpio will learn soon enough not to take their attentions for granted, or the third Decan Scorpio may seek out alternative and more satisfying options or alternatives. Again, these are all energies that tap into the theme of the Seven of Cups. First Decan Pisces do not respond well to or appreciate those who neglect to use kindness and courtesy in dealing with them. In this instance, they will leave what doesn't fulfill them emotionally in search of something else, something we very much see in the Eight of Cups. Pisces Cancer sees a distinct difference between being lonely, which they rarely are, and being alone, which they are often. They are capable of spending hours with a good book, so their companion will eventually learn not to intrude on their privacy and their space. And this very much lends itself to the independent, healthy selfishness that we see in the Nine of Cups. We should also understand that second Decan Pisces are great admirers of sensuous beauty and the enjoyment of the finer things in life, another theme that the Nine of Cups speaks of. Love motivates many of the third Decan Piscean decisions. Pisces Scorpio are finely tuned to the wants and the needs of others, often highly empathic. They are good listeners and are quite able to relate to and make sense of other people's points of view. Those best suited for Pisces Scorpio would be someone who could make the Pisces third Decan feel that they count, that they matter, Comfort-loving Pisces Scorpio knows how to make life pleasant for themselves and for others. This is extremely energetically in tune with the Ten of Cups, a card that speaks of making love your mission, a happy family, and perfection in love. First Decan Libra very much want to have their own way, but would prefer to get it without a fight, if this is at all possible. This could be why we see a closed off and avoidance theme in the Two of Swords. In the face of confrontation, a Libra may find themselves closing down, shutting off, and refusing to make a choice or a decision. There is no escaping the powerful double influence that Venus exerts on the Libra. Libra first Decan must forever balance between their Venus side and their double Cardinal side, and this more often than not presents them with a head versus heart decision. Again, something we very much can find in the Two of Swords. Second Decan Libras are often a paradox between doing what is right for others and taking care of themselves. There is very much a self-sacrifice energy with this Decan that is in conflict with itself. Libra Aquarius often have difficulty in finding time for themselves, and at some point they must learn how to limit the time and energy that they are prepared to give. They are naturally inclined to look for the basic good in mankind, and as a result, may be frequently disappointed. The Three of Swords then, in these terms, speaks of giving too much, and the heartbreak of not receiving one's worth, among many other things. Libra Gemini have pronounced intellectual capabilities that are all part of their allure. Sometimes the depth of their true feeling for a lover, however, is not apparent on the surface, and this is perhaps why, from the outside, the Four of Swords appears to be very much an inactive card. All of the energy is directed inwards, however, and to matters of the mind. Third Decan Libras are very much mentally orientated and involved. Libra Gemini has a need to be well informed, and they characteristically make this a challenge to learn. To them, knowledge is power, and this inevitably leads to a time out we see in the Four of Swords, time to gather thoughts and to reflect. First Decan Aquarius will not be tied down to fixed routines and schedules. Some Aquarius may indeed desire a permanent, faithful, giving and stable partner, but they also seek freedom. They restrict themselves to a well-chosen circle of close friends. They will focus on those who have a stabilizing effect on them psychologically, those that contribute to their happiness, and they will steer clear of people that are needy or clingy. They will therefore leave anyone who they do not resonate with. They are uninterested in arguments and playing games, and once again, this understanding very much calls us to look carefully at the Five of Swords to discern which of the characters we should be focusing on. The Aquarius energy reflects a refusal to engage with arguments and conflict of this sort, to the extent where they will happily allow somebody else to feel that they have won, with the view of not having the time or the energy for someone else's drama. Aquarians do not play games. Second Decan Aquarius value their happiness highly, both in the long term and in the short term. They like to keep their relationships light, and they want to avoid the serious or heavy involvements. Perhaps this is why the character in the Six of Swords is leaving the drama in search of something easier, calmer, and more peaceful. Third Decan Aquarius are not easily satisfied and often bored. Those best suited for Aquarius Libra love activity and movement, and this could speak of some of the motivation behind the Seven of Swords as a card of leaving something that you are already established to be part of. Perhaps this is a search for something more exciting, or the idea that the grass is greener in some way. Making plans and resolutions of all sorts for the foreseeable enables third decan Aquarius to get through trying times, and this speaks of the strategy involved in the Seven of Swords. Since Mercury is both the ruler and sub-ruler, the Gemini mental acumen is sharp and they have a natural resilience. This resilience, however, can lead them to holding on to things, especially in the mind, creating the overthinking, trapped in the mind energy that we see in the Eight of Swords. Gemini are high-speed players who get impatient with other people's slower responses, which is why the feeling of being tied down would be so traumatic and something we can see in the Eight of Swords. Relationships with others are extremely important to second decan Geminis and may either make or break their life. Sharing is part of the Gemini Libra life. They are generous with their time and friendship and their possessions, and this could speak of the loneliness and mental anguish seen in the Nine of Swords, facing the absence of such connections, or from giving to someone and feeling extremely let down by them. Having such high standards and expectations of themselves is something it's easy to project onto someone else, which then leads to disappointment when that doesn't come to fruition. Gemini Libra need to feel appreciated, and it's safe to say that the energy of the Nine of Swords is someone that has been impacted by feeling they do not have this. Third decan Geminis are optimistic, believing, often mistakenly, that the better side of people ultimately will out. Third decan Gemini is ranked as the most independent of all Geminis. No one can influence them in their decisions, and they have the supreme gift of persuasion. Attempts to hold Gemini Aquarius down to strict obligations and a formal routine are usually doomed to failure. Understanding this helps us greatly to understand how someone in the position of the Ten of Swords may bounce back. You can't hold a third decan Gemini down. And this speaks of the dawning of a new day that we see in this card, and actually brings a great deal of hope to this card regarding how things are going to be moving forwards. First decan Capricorn are precise, orderly, and generally don't trust others to look after details. Highly dependable Capricorn is able to assume many of the responsibilities of daily life without complaint. They will complete a task always to the best of their ability. Once Capricorn sets their mind on a goal, they are relentless and determined. These personality traits speak of the determination involved in keeping up the balancing act that we see in the Two of Pentacles, and the ability to withstand the pressure involved to keep things going. Saturn, a planet of discipline, is both Capricorn's ruler and sub-ruler, which gives them a serious manner and a talent for handling responsibility. Taurus have the drive and ambition necessary to reach the top of their profession. Capricorn's second decan is uncommunicative about their feelings. Love is a deep emotion, and they don't always speak of it. They are, however, completely devoted to the wants and needs of those they love, and this speaks of the collaborative effort that we see in the Three of Pentacles, but also the detachment of emotional considerations in favour of work and career concerns. Third decan Capricorn have quick intellect and flexibility of character that allows them to adapt to different people and situations. Virgo, natural ruler of the 6th house of health, work and service, helps with discipline and gives them the energy to accomplish just about anything they set out to do. If they aren't careful, they could, however, become so involved and obsessed with work that they miss out on a number of other activities that might be more pleasant and in the long run actually more rewarding. This hints towards the possibility that the character in the Four of Pentacles feels pressure in the face of being torn between wanting to bring home the finances to support their families, but is also seeking a work-life balance and ways that they can relax and have fun as well. Perhaps this is the source of stress that we see in this card, and not necessarily simply greed. For Taurus, a head-on confrontation should be avoided. A much more sensible method is to appeal to their need for affection and harmony. They need to learn that money is not everything. If they allow money to become their only goal, they will have little time, if any time, for anything else, and could wind up extraordinarily rich, but completely alone and unloved. Money can present problems in love along the way as well. This could speak of the shutting out in the cold energy that we see in the Five of Pentacles. We have to consider that it may perhaps be the querent that is shutting someone else or even themselves out. And we can also consider the reason for this here is this avoidance of confrontation, avoidance of addressing emotional concerns, or perhaps even both. Those best suited for a Taurus Virgo in a personal relationship are those who understand their need to be left alone rather than being fussed over or spoiled. Taurus Virgo prefers their mates to show their enthusiasm for the relationship by simply upholding their share of it, rather than by displays of gratitude or affection. Second Decan Taurus believe that system, order, and dedication to work will bring the material gains that you desire. The idea that charity begins at home is very much seen in the Six of Pentacles, and it could well be that this is viewed in a particular way when we bring it back to the traits of Second Decan Taurus, especially when we understand that lack and poverty may be viewed by the Second Decan Taurus as something that people perhaps bring on themselves. Is the sharing, therefore, begrudged? Is there a noteworthy lack of sympathy present here? This can be interesting when we apply this to things that we may be reading other than financial issues. This is a matter of taking personal responsibility for what you do, what you have, and what you don't have. Determination is the Taurus Capricorn keyword. People think of them as stable and reliable, for they are not easily deterred once they are set on a goal. The Saturn influence demands this of the third Decan Taurus, while Venus supports them in efforts that require them to keep their nose to the grindstone, often for many years. Saturn brings this Decan the favourable aspect of putting themselves to the test. This is the planet of making it or breaking it, and their life, if lived fully, will never be humdrum. Events seem to occur as though they were planned for. This speaks of the hard work, patience, and effort that has been put into the Seven of Pentacles. Third Decan Taurus may experience problems, delays, setbacks, and even outright failures in their attempts, but their will to keep on trying never allows them to give in. Again, speaking of the approach to any potential failure or setback that we see in this card. The reason first Decan Virgos are survivors is that they are unceasingly productive. Laziness, sloth, greed, and ignorance do not even appear in the Virgo dictionary. First Decan Virgo can be extremely flexible, and they can adapt to situations and problems that might arise. The double Mercury injects the limitless possibilities that exist for the Virgo. Intellectual activity, knowledge, and understanding and truth are gifts that they do not waste. Mental insistence and concentration are often their greatest strengths. We of course understand the Eight of Pentacles as a card of hard work, and with this additional Decan trait information, we can add layers of meaning to this. We can see the determination, the drive and the talent present here to achieve a goal successfully. Virgo Capricorn have no real need to live with others, but if family life proves inviting, they are capable of fitting in well, as long as they have enough time and space for themselves. They may send out silent messages about this to their lovers, which, if noticed, can bring great satisfaction. And this adds an interesting dynamic to the Nine of Pentacles, often seen as a card of being single and not chasing a love interest. It could be, perhaps, that someone who pulls this card would quite like to be chased themselves. It could be that this attitude makes them extremely attractive. Second Decan Virgo do not easily reveal what they are really thinking about. Indeed, showing emotion can be difficult for them. Asking for help may be a real problem for them. They seem fated to work things out alone. Again, this just adds so many more layers of understanding to a card like the Nine of Pentacles. Third Decan Virgo make excellent parents and are usually quite conventional in family matters, particularly enjoying holidays and family outings. Virgo Taurus have strong nurturing and protective instincts. They are warm-hearted and they are generous, and it is abundantly clear how this energy speaks of the Ten of Pentacles. Astrological considerations within tarot are only one of the many facets of exploration, and you should always use your discernment and simply follow what feels right for you as a reader. We can use information like this as a window that we can peek through, but there are many, many windows that we can choose from. Obviously, the more we look through, the more we understand. Within these tutorials, it is my intention to present you with as many windows as I can, but ultimately it's up to you to decide which window you want to spend time looking through. Some readers are not so drawn to the astrological associations and are more drawn to symbolism, for example, and that's something that we will explore in another video and on another tutorial in this series on this channel. Thank you for joining me here today. I do hope you were able to get something out of this presentation. I would love to hear your thoughts, ideas, comments and questions in the comments section below. Have a great day.